Let's talk about international readers. Every author's dream, okay, most authors' dream. I shouldn't say every author's. We've got some of us that like we feel like we're a hermit and we're scared or we just are not interested in letting other people read our stuff. We just enjoy the creating the worlds and writing the books, that kind of thing. That is fantastic. But for the rest of us, it is kind of a goal to become big enough as an author that we are like international, that we are getting sales from other countries and we have fans in other countries, and it is the best feeling in the world. I am not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form when I say that I ran a Kickstarter and I found I was shipping to 22 countries, which is absolutely crazy to me. I had multiple that I had no idea I had fans in those countries. I was so excited. Um, but shipping to international countries is really expensive. And a lot of times you're stuck dealing with customs and extra fees, and it can be really overwhelming. So I wanted to talk a little bit about ways that you can kind of still help these readers feel like they are special and valued and that kind of thing. But at the same time, they are able to be, um, like you're able to do it affordably for them and for you. So, for example, if a reader comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to get a signed copy from you," one of the things that I do is I will ask, like, I give them three options. One, I can go ahead and sign it for them, and they can pay for the international shipping and the customs, and I will go look at the cost of that. I highly suggest looking at sites such as Pirate Ship. If you're in the US, I know there's others for other countries. I just don't know them. But Pirate Ship has a contract with UPS and USPS where they get the like big batch discounts. So with that, the they're able to give you a lot cheaper shipping, like 40 to 70% cheaper. It's a huge help. And I also highly suggest if you're shipping to Canada, do not use UPS. They have a habit of adding on extra customs fees because they kind of try to rush it through. So Canada always do USPS. I know it sucks, it's slow, and it looks more expensive than UPS, but by the time they've added on 50, 100 plus dollar fees, it's still cheaper. Anyways, sorry. But so I give them three options. I can either sign it and send it to them directly and they can pay the higher shipping and the customs fees. I set up all my books with Ingram Sparks, and I have a couple other print on demand international printers that I will set up a book with. And I will offer to send them a book from that printer, and then they can cover the shipping for me to send an envelope that has a book plate and maybe character art and that kind of stuff. And if you don't know what a book plate is basically a sticker, and you can have it look however you want. It just needs to have a blank spot that you can sign your name, and you send it so they can place it inside their book. There's a lot of readers that love that. The other option as well, that is the most cost effective typically, is if you use a printer like Ingram Sparks, which I know Ingram Sparks has a whole thing. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I will say I have my returns turned off after having 300 books returned on me. Um, and I still just function just fine with Ingram Sparks and getting into bookstores and stuff for the most part. I don't try to get into the massive ones, but I do go ahead and just keep returns off so I don't have to worry about that. And that kind of eliminates the main problem that people complain about Ingram's for. Anyway, so I use Ingram Sparks because they have a lot of international printing locations, and they give you the option of for $1, you can actually add an extra page into the book. And I will do a new signature for every one, and I will add like a personalized note in there. I'll add art onto that page because you get both sides, and they will add it in for you, and then they can ship it to them oftentimes from their own country. So it is like the same price, if not cheaper, than what it would cost to ship to someone, like to ship the book to yourself. It's kind of awesome the way that works, but there are other printers as well that you can do that kind of stuff with as well. So it's worth looking at, it's worth checking out. But it's also, again, it's a great way to offer a way for international readers to connect with you. I also suggest, um, if you are looking at doing shipping kind of stuff, sometimes it is worth offering like a book box of some sort. It does not have to be fancy, it does not have to be big, but I've found that a good chunk of my international readers will specifically choose to wait until a book box is available for a book so that they're getting more bang for their buck when they're dealing with expensive shipping because they want something hand signed by me. And we can talk about book boxes and that kind of stuff later because that is its own whole huge ball game. And I'm actually working on creating a massive resource for that for everybody. So, like I said, I will get further into that later. But if you have questions on those kinds of things, feel free to ask us. Feel free to let us know, like what kind of stuff as a reader, because authors are readers too. What kind of stuff as a reader would you actually feel was intentional and thoughtful? Like, what are your favorite things you like to get from authors? Because a lot of times international readers get ignored. Also, little like pro tip. Um, Oftentimes, especially for bigger influencers, even, but like mid-size, if you're looking at doing PR anything, this is a great way to be able to hit up some of those international readers. And there are some printers like BookVault UK that will let you print on demand special editions even and ship them out to international people without dealing with major customs. I have found that I've been able to get picked up by some of the larger influencers who are international because they don't normally get sent anything because again they're international by shipping them things from the printers that are near them that won't hit them with customs, won't hit them with high fees, that kind of thing. So just a little food for thought if you want to try and get your book into the hands of someone who is wanting to help share it for you on social media.